Welcome to another edition of the KTTH Roundtable, where Bryan Suits and we talk about stories around a literal round table. What do you got? You get to go first today.
People are wondering, what's the pipeline for these punks that block CTAC? It's the same pipeline that produces a teacher out of South High School who's teaching kids that any deprivation in the face of resistance, in the name of resistance, is okay, and now he's suspended. And his name is Ian Golash, and he was caught by Accuracy in Media's Crisis in the Classroom project at a protest where he first denied posting on social media thoughts like that, and then when confronted with, well, what about Hamas raping and murdering innocent women? And the comeback was, what's your proof? Yeah. So the guy clearly hasn't seen the montage of video that the IDF put together.
Hold on. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true. I think when you're an anti-Semite, you choose to ignore a lot of things. He has to be aware of the UN report that came out several weeks ago saying that it happened. He had to have seen the New York Times very high-profile interview with a former hostage who went through graphic details of her rape. So he's choosing, I think, to ignore all of that because it makes his position look weak.
And that it's a feature, not a bug of Hamas, and that becomes crystal clear if you see any of the horrible video that they themselves put up on that. And this guy was teaching Seattle public school kids at South High School, International High School, and now he's the victim. So he kind of got what he wanted. And the pipeline comes from Qatar. Qatar spends almost a full $1 billion between Northwestern, Johns Hopkins, even Texas A&M, in like your journalism school at Virginia Commonwealth. It's Qatari money. Qatar owns Al Jazeera, and the pipeline from American journalists being trained that the Jews are evil, and then them taking a gig as a North American correspondent on Al Jazeera is seamless. So, yeah, those kids that are blocking I-5 or the CTAC drop-off lane, there's a direct line. They're coming from college campuses.
Well, there's also something that's not being discussed in all of this, and I'll make this my topic. It's a Fox News editorial that I wrote this week. The folks who are in this anti-Semitic crowd, the protesters, it's not just that they're fueled by hating Jews in Israel. These are anti-capitalists. And that's really, at the end of the day, what all of this is about. They're not hiding it. So, for example, this last week, Monday, we saw the Golden Gate Bridge being blocked, SeaTac being blocked, Chicago O'Hare Airport being blocked. That was done by a group that is actively calling itself an economic blockade. Now, they're framing it around hurting the economy because that'll end up hurting Israel. No, these are anti-capitalists. And if you go to their websites, if you go to all of their previous work, because the Venn diagram of people who are involved here versus Antifa versus the BLM radicals.
Yeah, there's no daylight.
There's like no daylight whatsoever. These are folks who are anti-capitalist socialists, and that is their end goal. It's to disrupt our economy because they want to dismantle capitalism. That's all that this is about. Yeah, they hate Israel. They hate Jews. But what they really have in common, their end goal is to go after capitalism, which they view as oppressive. They see Israel as this massive, robust economy with an entrepreneurial spirit that is in the Middle East, and really the only capitalist country.
Exhibit A.
Yeah, so I mean, that's what they're viewing this entire lens through. It's rather remarkable, but people aren't really talking about it.
And even Hamas purged themselves as socialists because the socialists in the PLO and Hamas and Palestinian Intifada, they're driven by a profit margin. Their entire scam is producing dead bodies and getting donations for it. And the socialists didn't like that, so they purged them. I mean, toss them out a window or just shoot them.
Yeah, literally.
So they wouldn't last. No American Antifa guy would last 1 week in Hamas.
No, and please tell them your preferred pronouns when you get there. See how you're all treated.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week.